Hello everyone, what is going on? It is BradPhusion here and welcome back to another episode of Phusion Industries, where in today's video I will be talking to you guys about the Banshee. Now the Banshee is a very offensive long-range type vessel, as you guys can clearly see by the two large cannons on the front there, but that is not the only weapons it does have. It has two smaller autocannons on each of the wings. The main cannons it has is a mod called the 8.8cm RaK II cannon, or the RaK II cannon. And these things are rather quite powerful, but however I would stress using them at a distance, and this thing is quite good at a one-on-one fight as well. Now the ship has gone through a bit of production, I'll be showing you guys that in a second, as well as flying it around. Now it does have two variants, one with a manned version and one with a unmanned version. The one you're currently seeing is the unmanned version. There were a few reasons why I decided to make an unmanned version, and that is simply because the cockpit, at least the idea I had, doesn't really work out too well. Now there are several different ways you could do what I was trying to do and it would work out, but the design I was going with doesn't really work. So I'll show you guys what I was doing, the flaws and the benefits of this ship. So let's move on to the original first ever design of the Banshee. This is the first part that I looked at, and this is where I decided I want to continue with this design, because this actually looked nice to me. I wanted to go with kind of like the offset slopes there, and just the way the cannons looked and the way the cockpit looked, it had a nice feel to it, so I decided to continue and branch on from that. So I went a little bit back further here, and I wanted a kind of winged type design on the ship, and I thought that looked really kind of cool. Though admittedly I did go a little bit overboard, and you guys will see that in a second. Admittedly, you'll see a ship that I kind of, not a ship, sorry, a seat that I kind of just stuck up in here. This is just for me to test out the vehicle, so I can fire at the guns and see how it handled and everything like that. And this one here is with the thrusters, and I thought these are a little bit too much. They're a little, I don't know, I wanted power and I wanted wings, and this just gave me a little bit too much power and made the wings look absurdly big. And this here also has the first variant of the seat that I was trying out on the ship. So I wanted a seat that was kind of realistic, because a lot of people said that you guys want me to build a ship that doesn't have a main cockpit but instead has a hidden one, and I wanted to do that in such a way that it wasn't kind of glitching out the game and using like or exploiting a bug. For example, like if you place a seat behind a wall of blocks and just leave open a small window, you can still get inside that seat. I didn't want that because that didn't feel right to me, so I wanted a design that has a hidden seat but would still work out rather well, and this is what I came up with. And this is just a seat on a piston that retracts out below the ship, allowing you to get inside of it and retract yourself back up inside of it like so. This works for the most part, however putting blocks too close together causes the ship to obviously wobble around, break and everything, and that is kind of what led me towards making an unmanned version, because this design, whilst it works, it has a tendency to break from time to time. So let me get out of there and let me show you guys the last few variants before getting on to the final version and flying it. So this one here, again, uses the same seat design. I've decided to get rid of the two outer thrusters and kind of build a shell encasing it like so. That kind of suits the design a little bit more. And you guys can see I'm trying to mess around with the seat here, trying to get it to build in, trying to get it to kind of nice and flush, but it was still very hard to do, as you couldn't really make these blocks touch without it going all glitchy. Now this one here, again, a little bit more work on the thrusters, and I think everything's basically almost exactly the same as the last one, so not too much there to talk about. This one here is the final version. This here has the cockpit, as you guys can see, kind of encased in the armor there. Now there is a gap here simply because if I had it any closer, the ship would start to shake around and go a little bit buggy, so I've had to leave a small gap. Now what I could have done is I could have used merge blocks, but that would have maybe connected a few of these side pieces here, making it inseparable once it had connected. So let me just quickly show you guys how this works. So again, you press a button, your seat comes down and you get inside it and control it like so. Now, there have been a few bugs with having a seat design like this. I mean, it does go in quite fine, at least it shakes around sometimes like that. If I go to my third person view, you can see it's in there fine, nothing has been damaged. But if I do fly it around at high speeds and start shaking the ship around very badly, it has a tendency to just kind of snap the piston and everything goes to hell. And I'll try to show you guys that right now as I resume control of the ship like so. So again, the ship controls rather fine, but if I try to turn it around too much like so, come on, I want to do it. God, it won't break when I want it to break, will it? That's essentially what I was doing when I was stress testing it, and after a little while the piston does tend to break, and you do get shot out of the ship and so on. Now the two cannons on the ship work rather nicely. Like I said before, you have the two larger ones, which are a single shot cannon that takes a little while to reload, and then you have the two autocannons above and below on each side there. that fire a little bit more rapidly. So let me just show you guys these real quick through the camera view as I aim. What should I aim towards? I'll aim towards some of my older ships here, because why not? So we'll go up here and then we'll aim towards some of these over here. So you can see the crosshairs on the little dots here, and by firing this once, like so, it actually has such a really cool sound. And you can actually hear it reloading. I stopped talking so you guys can actually hear it, and if I go to F8 view, you can see it does do a fair amount of damage. Not so much, but this is why this vessel is more so a long-range sniping type vessel, I guess you'd say. Because whilst it does do a fair amount of damage, it's more preferable if, as like a hit and strike vehicle, assassinating a single target, shooting one cockpit out from like 1,000 meters away and getting the hell out of there before they can even see you. This thing can actually strike you from a fair distance away and you can't see it. I was testing it before and I had it all the way out in space and I was shooting it from over 1,000 meters away and I couldn't see it even on high settings. And at 1080p, so that was quite surprising, the fact that this ship has that capability of being able to strike down certain targets without being seen itself. Admittedly, it is a little bit harder to aim, and I hope that at some point Keen will add maybe cameras that have zoom functionalities, or even some sort of sights that allow you to zoom in and aim a little bit closer than what you would normally do. So again, the cannon is a little bit strong. Not a little bit strong. It is strong. It can break through light armor in a matter of seconds. Not even seconds. Probably 2 shots you can hit through a large ship light armor. Heavy armor is a little bit of a different story. It does take a little while to shoot, but let's go over to the autocannons here so you guys can see these firing as well. And I'll be quiet so you guys can hear the sounds. And again, that kind of sounds pretty cool, I admit. The whole sound modding aspect of the game now is just unbelievable. The fact that you can change so much of the game, and this thing is just tearing that ship to pieces internally. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a no, it has these smaller reactors, so yeah, it will last a little bit longer, but it won't last too long. So again, this thing is mostly made for hit and run / long distances. The autocannons are simply there for if someone gets a little bit too in your face and you just want to blast them to pieces, you can do that with this ship, which is really quite nice. So I'm going to take this back and then I'm going to try flying the unmanned one. Because flying in this camera, whilst it isn't bad, it does, like, it's not really restrictive either. And I was trying to go for that view where the camera was protected, but it wasn't exactly, you know, you couldn't see out of it. So let's leave this here right now. Oh, I should have gotten out of that properly. Hang on, let me do that again. Let me get back inside and let me get out of it properly for you guys. Just because that does look pretty cool getting out of it. And admittedly, you can get in and out of it like so. You don't really need to bring it down, but it does look cool. I wanted to go with the cool factor, and you know, you can't have a ship that doesn't have a cool factor to it. So I'm going to go down here, I'm going to land, and then I'm going to get out and get inside the automatic one, or the unmanned one, sorry. So here we are. We'll get out of here, and then we'll bring our seat down like so. I'll go first person just because it looks really cool, and then once you're out you can just get out of your seat like so, and then retract the seat back up inside the vessel, and ta-da! You're done. That is the Banshee. Essentially, that is the basics of the Banshee. So we'll get inside the seat here and we'll fly the unmanned variant. Not so different to the other one. Oddly enough, I had originally called it the Sicarius, the Sicarius, which meant assassin in Latin, but I decided to go with Banshee just because Banshee sounded a little bit cooler. Let me know what name you guys prefer in the comments down below. Is Sicarius or Banshee? Banshee is a little bit easier for me to say as well. Sicarius is a little odd, but it does have a nice meaning behind it other than Banshee that I just thought sounded cool. So let's go remote control here, and we can control the ship, which I believe is the parked one. So again, it functions exactly the same as the other one, though it has a little bit more power here as well. And it doesn't have to worry about having a pilot inside of it. So it is a little bit lighter in that regard. And again, you don't really have to worry about throwing it around or anything like that, or anything breaking as you do fly it around. The only thing I've found that the main cannons can't penetrate is the shields on this ship here, even though I've just broken off a part of it just by shooting it. So whilst it does, Jesus, these things are powerful. Again, this is more like a sniper rifle on a ship, and these things do tend to kick ass like that. I mean, like, one shot and the cockpit's gone. I mean, that is just amazing. Yeah, so again, this has been the Banshee. It should be up on the workshop for you guys to download and play around with yourselves. Let me know what you guys think about the ship in the comments down below, and I've just crashed it into the antenna. There we go. So again, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the Banshee in the comments down below, and what name do you guys prefer, Banshee or Sicarius? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll leave that here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Stay awesome, everyone.